They know that sometimes a song is all you need to bring people together, and I think nowhere is that more true than on Festival on the Green. So thank you in advance for the great music we're going to hear, and on with the show. Good.
I rolled out my 20s, moving on through my 30s. I got 40s ahead of me on down the road. I gotta get there tonight, some say gotta use up all your daylight before it goes out for good. Yeah, well, I hope when I'm an older man I ain't dreaming the same story about holding this here guitar without any strings. 'Cause I'm freezing up in my hotel, feeling love to the ones I belong to. I ain't treating you right. Hey! Oh, and all my life I've been afraid, and maybe I'd be better off had I paid. Yeah, well, there's fighting going on in my head, toss and turn and me laid in bed. Rest is what I really long for. But she stands up on my way, her passion card hits my face, and I go down again for the count. Hey! Yeah, but I know I've seen this scene before, and the character longs for more punishment, abuse, attack of the heart. I'm gonna get back up on the stage again. I'm gonna be the one you wanna hit again. There's a dead-eye old man in my past. And all my life I've been afraid, and maybe I'd be better off had I paid. Your breath, your rope and wind, was me who put that hole in your side. But I believe that there is a name for me, love's open arms of sanctity, where one day I'll be found. Heaven, and all my life I've been afraid, and maybe I'd be better off had I paid.
Hello, Vermont! I've always wanted to say that. This is great. JD, you're getting cupcake. He got a pancake and a donut for breakfast. And now you're getting cupcakes for dessert. This is what happens when we're on tour. This is great.
That song's hilarious that we're singing it today, because there's the first line. I've gone on through my 20s, through my 30s, and got 40s ahead of me down the road. Well, today I turned 42, so we're going to have to move that up to, I've gone through my 30s, I got 40s and 50s down the road. I think I'm going to have to rewrite that song a little bit. Man, oh man, 42. Anyone else 42? Just one of you? I doubt it.
Who's been 42? Yay!
Hey! Well, thanks for coming to my birthday party, everybody. We're gonna do a pin the tail on the donkey later, and have a piñata out back too, so it's gonna be fun.
That would actually be kind of fun. Last year we were on tour in England during my birthday, and it was a Sunday night, and it was unseasonably warm for England. It was like, okay, Fahrenheit. What would it have been in Fahrenheit? Celsius, it was like 30 degrees Celsius. So that's like getting up to 100, right? Like it's getting hot for England. That's hot. People don't know what to do with themselves. And so JD and I were like, well, let's promote the fact that it's going to be your birthday and that there will be cake. And then as we were driving to the gig, we realized we didn't clue in to actually get a cake. And thank God we have some super fans over there. They came with 3 homemade cakes, one in the shape of a banjo, which maybe we should plan birthdays on tours more often, JD. It's great. We are very honored to be here. This is our very first gig in Vermont. Yes, we're very honored to be here. So thank you, Beth and the crew, for inviting us. We were hoping to see Bernie Sanders and eat some Ray and Jerry's ice cream, but it hasn't happened yet. Oh, sorry, Ray and Jerry is a steakhouse.
In
Ben
Winnipeg.
and Jerry. Oops. Ben and Jerry. We're going to do a song about people we don't like anymore, and that's nobody here. So that's okay. Yet. As JD and I are now in our 40s, and I'm in my mid-40s, we're discovering time is finite, and we don't have the time, interest, or energy to spend with people who we don't actually like. And we think you could maybe relate to that. So we'll sing this song for anybody in your life who you really shouldn't be spending time with, and hopefully it's not the person that you came with tonight, because that would be very awkward.
And opened up a brand new day. We sent you a new day, a standing still. 'Cause you're no friend of mine. You tore up my heart, you robbed me blind. I'm cutting you from my life, 'cause you're not worth my time. I dug a grave and I dug it deep, buried all the things that you gave to me. And now I'm finally free of your staying free, the burden you were to me. 'Cause you're no friend of mine. You tore up my heart, you robbed me blind. I'm cutting you from my life, 'cause you're not worth my time. I made a promise I intend to keep. Told myself that I'd never be fooled if I should come across the likes of you. No, I would never be made a fool. 'Cause you're no friend of mine. You tore up my heart, you robbed me blind. Now I'm cutting you from my life, 'cause you're not worth my time. Oh, no friend of mine. You tore up my heart, you robbed me blind. Now I'm cutting you from my life, 'cause you're not worth my time. No, I would never be made a fool, 'cause you're no friend of mine. You're no friend of mine. You're no friend of mine. You're no friend of mine.
you very much. Right on, right on. This next song, we're going to take you out to the east coast of Canada. We wrote this song on Prince Edward Island in the beautiful city of Charlottetown, and we got a chance to spend a week out there a couple years ago and do some songwriting in a wonderful festival out there and in the month of May. And this song was written on a Monday. This song was written with a wonderful friend of ours by the name of Ashley Condon. And she brought her idea to the trio, Cara and I and Ashley, and she said she wanted to write a song about the moon. And so we started writing. And I don't know what it was. Maybe because we were in Charlottetown, near the ocean. It's a beautiful city. The people there are wonderful. Anyway, everything kind of got inside of us and down through our arms and down onto the page as we were writing. And the song that started out to be about the moon turned out to be a song about a fisherman, which for some reason I think happens a lot when you're in the Maritimes writing songs. But anyway, by any rate, this song starts in the morning. Fisherman wakes up one morning, goes down to the harbor like he does every day and gets to his boat and sorts out his nets and his charts, takes off. He gets to the place where he's going to do his fishing that day and starts doing his thing. But on this day, something happens, and he doesn't come back home. His wife is on the mainland, partner. She goes down to the harbor like she does every day to greet him as he comes in from the sea, and she stands on the wharf and looks into the bay, and she doesn't see his boat. And I think she kind of knows what's up. So she goes home and she puts a candle in the window. Maybe he'll see the light. Maybe it'll guide him home. She goes back the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. And the week goes by, and then the month goes by, and then the season goes by, the year goes by, and every day she goes down to the harbor. She stands out on the wharf, and she closes her eyes and grips her chest, and she says, "I will always love you." And when she opens her eyes, there's the moon. A great big moon on the horizon, tick-tocking back and forth across the sky. And this song is called Long, Long Moon.
And my days were done.
Thank you. We've got a brand new album that's just come out called Assiniboine in the Red, and those are the two rivers that meet in our adopted hometown of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Has anybody heard of Winnipeg, Manitoba? Oh my God, we're in Vermont. We knew it. Has anybody been to Winnipeg? Oh my God, you guys are, wow. Has anybody been there on purpose? That's usually the question we ask, in Canada at least. Winnipeg is the butt of many jokes, and that's okay. We are going to convince you by the end of the set that you should all come visit us in Winnipeg. JD and I are both from away. He's from southern Ontario, a town called Oshawa, Ontario, and via Toronto. And I was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta. I'm sure many of you have heard of Calgary and the beautiful Rocky Mountains. This is a song, that last song and this next song are on the new album. JD and I were tasked with writing songs in praise of our home or praise of where we're from. And we ended up writing this song with our good friend of ours, James Keelahan. He's a great singer-songwriter from up in Canada. Yes, he's a dear friend of ours and one of Canada's national treasures. James and I were both born and raised in Calgary, Alberta, and so we thought it would be interesting to write a kind of a modern-day love song for Alberta. Alberta is getting a little bit of a bad rap these days. They're a bit of the bully on the block in terms of the provinces up in Canada. People are kind of pissed off at them. For some of them are for good reasons. But sometimes with the places where you're from, you still have an affinity for those places, even if they kind of do things that you don't necessarily agree with. And we thought we'd write a song about somebody who goes to work in Alberta, which happens quite a bit, especially on the east coast of Canada. Work is dried up out there. So a lot of folks, guys in particular, are doing this odd shift work where they'll fly out to northern Alberta to work in the oil fields and oil sands of Fort McMurray. And they leave their families back in Newfoundland or in Cape Breton Island or Nova Scotia, that area. And they kind of do these 6 weeks out in Alberta, and then they come home for 2 weeks. And so their lives are rather disjointed. And we thought it would be interesting to write a song from the perspective of the person who goes to Alberta and ends up falling in love with the province and tries to convince their family to follow. So we always like to dedicate this song for anybody who's new to the area. So we don't know if anybody has recently moved to Middlebury or to Vermont in general, and you're trying to find your people, and you're trying to find your community, and we hope that you are settling in and that perhaps here at this festival you will meet some kindred spirits.
I walked out on a morning fair, Rocky Mountains shining, shadows drift on frost-covered hills. The colors of gold and tan, a crystal river through the valley ran. No one's ever Alberta is her name. I sat down and I wrote to you. I said you should be coming. You're never gonna see a sky so blue. Drapes of green and a northern sky. The stars dance by. I never thought I'd say it. She stole my heart, and it's easy to explain. Alberta is her name.
to you who wander far. You search for rest and comfort, 'cause you can find no solace where you are. Keep your eyes wide and remember me. This ain't the place I thought I'd be, but that's how it goes with romance. One breath of hurt and you'll never be the same. Albert is her name. Albert is her name. Hey!
Thank you very much. I like the last bit of that one where he realizes that everything's gonna be okay, and he just lets her rip at the end there. Alberta is quite a beautiful place. Politics are kind of weird, but the beauty of that land is just fantastic. Anyway, we're going to move a little bit further west now in this particular song. This is a song that was taken from the Rocky Mountains in British Columbia, and a specific part of the Rockies known as the Kootenay Mountains. This is a story that takes place from a small community out on the side of a mountain called Johnson's Landing. There's a small town called Caslow in the Kootenays, and just outside of Caslow there's a highway, and then you take a turn off the highway and get onto a logging road. You take the logging road up the mountain, and there's two communities up there, Johnson's Landing, and the other one's called Argenta. And a number of years ago, I'd say about maybe 7 years ago, this community had a huge snow dump in the winter, and then in the spring it melted fast, and they had a lot of rain, and unfortunately they had a landslide. Now, a lot of the community figured that something was probably up, and so a lot of people evacuated, but a few people didn't make it. I don't know why they didn't leave, or they didn't heed the warning, or I don't know, but regardless, the community lost a few people. A couple of years later, Cara and I went up there touring and playing for the community up there. And they told us the story. We saw the damage that had been done. And of course, the community was still reeling from the loss of their friends and family. And that story kind of touched our hearts, so we decided to write a song. This is a song written with the wonderful Lynn Miles. And this is a song called Johnson Slide. And it goes like this. Where the road runs out, where you gotta build your own bridge. Sidestepping that switchback so you can get around the snow. Where you live to survive, and there's one thing you should know, that no matter where you came from, no matter where you've been, the valley of the lost souls take you. Thunder or an old wolf cry. Maybe I was stubborn, maybe it was pride, but it's dark
devil's eye, lying in the belly of a Johnson slide.
To get away from you.
But no matter what I wanted, no matter what I did, the valley of the lost souls took me in. Maybe it was thunder or an old wolf pride, or maybe I was stubborn, maybe it was pride, but it's darker than the dead soul in a devil's eye, lying in that belly of a Johnson slide. Johnson slide. Johnson I came for salvation to this innocent place. I learned to be strong, and I learned to be brave, and I made this place my home, but now it's my grave.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Everyone doing all right? We'll try to keep a little bit more positive from here on in.
I think one of the things JD and I love so much about our job is we get to go to all these interesting communities and hear these stories. And I think part of we kind of see ourselves as the bard or the troubadour who goes from community to community and brings the stories from the last place that we were at. I happen to spend half my time in Caslow, BC, whenever we're off the road, and we have gotten to know a lot of the people from that Johnson's Landing community, and we've just been getting a couple messages from them about the album. They've been listening to it, and grateful that the story's getting shared. So, any Stan Rogers fans? People know who Stan Rogers was, one of Canada's, again, another national treasure up there, sadly died at a very young age, great songwriter. Well, we're not going to do a Stan Rogers song, but we're going to do a song that he covered. JD and I are good friends with Stan's son, Nathan. He lives in Winnipeg, and every Christmas or every second Christmas, he does a Stan Rogers Christmas show. And he invites his friends, various guest artists, to come and be part of the show. And we are tasked with learning 3 or 4 Stan Rogers songs. And one of the songs that JD and I really wanted to learn was one called The Witch of the Westmoreland, which is actually an Archie Fisher song. But Stan Rogers covered it on his Live Between the Breaks album, and we absolutely love that song. But when we started learning it, we realized that it has the most words. I think when we were writing it out, there were 3 pages of lyrics, so I think we've done a pretty good job of memorizing it. But Archie Fisher, he uses all this incredible imagery from the Lakes District up in Cumbria, in that northwestern part of England, kind of before the borders and into Scotland. And it's kind of this song that sounds a bit like a Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur, that kind of song, or maybe even Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. No, it's not. Only if you live in Canada. But we heard this really great story about what influenced Archie to write the song. And JD, why don't you tell the story, because it's actually rather hilarious.
Okay, so I think this story is a little bit of myth. We heard this story, I think, from James Keelhan, and I'm not sure if he spun this tale or not. But anyway, so imagine Archie Fisher, some old man sitting in his car, driving north away from London, driving north back to Scotland probably, and driving somewhere on the M6, heading up through the Lakes districts of northern England. And he's driving, and I'm sure he's kind of a little bored maybe, or maybe he's just hoping to get where he needs to get to quickly. And I don't know, out of his rear view mirror, he sees this red convertible come speeding up next to him, and comes up next to him, and when he looks over, he notices that there's this beautiful woman driving the car. And I don't know if how they communicated, probably through some sort of eye gestures and hand gestures, but anyway, they somehow, I guess, were flirting and somehow suggested to each other to take the next exit, to get to the next services, probably to get to know each other better or whatever. And so they pull off. I'm making most of this up, by the way. Anyway, so they pull off, and she gets out of her car, and he gets out of his car, and when he does, somehow he cuts his finger, and blood is going everywhere, and she saves his life by wrapping up his finger. And then he wrote the song or something. So you'll have to sort of picture this knight on his horse. He's got his dog and a bird, and he's just been mortally wounded from a battle, and he's en route to find the witch of the Westmoreland, because she's the only one that can save his life. And so he's walking, or I don't know, what do you do on a horse? You ride it. Sorry, you ride it. He's riding, he's going up over these places, and in the song you'll hear these different places. And of course in the song there's lots of mythology and symbolism and all sorts of things, so maybe you might recognize some of that stuff, but he talks to an owl. You'll hear it. I don't want to give it all away. It's a long story, so just sit and listen. Take notes if you need.
Keep in mind that he cut his finger, and that he's turned himself into a mortally wounded knight. That's what we want you to remember that.
Okay,
all right.
Rowan Shield, loud and cruel with the raven's cries that feasted on the field. Stand back, wide, cold and clear. Will never clean your wounds. There's none but the witch of the Westmoreland that makes thee hail and soon. So turn your stallion's head till his red mane flies in the wind, and the rider of the moon goes by, and the bright star falls behind. And clear was the pale moon when his shadow passed him by. Below the hills were the brightest stars when he heard the owlet cry, saying, why do you ride this way, and wherefore came you here? For I seek the witch of the Westmoreland that dwells by the winding mere. And it's weary by the Old Water and the misty break fern way, till through the cleft of the Kirkstead Pass where the winding water lay. Lie down, my brindled hound, and rest ye, my good grey hawk, and thee, my steed, may graze thy fill, for I must dismount and walk. But come when you hear my horn, and answer swift the call, for I fear the sun will rise this morn, he will serve me best of all. And it's down to the water's brim he has borne the Rowan Shield, and the golden rod he has cast in to see what the lake might yield. And it's wet rolls she from the lake, and fast and fleet when she won half the form of a maiden fair with the jet black mare's body. And as loud, long, shrilly blew, till his steed was by his side, high overhead the great hawk flew, and swiftly did he ride, saying, course well, my brindled hound, and fetch me the jet black mare. Stoop and strike, my good grey hawk, and bring me the maiden fair. Silvery sword, lay down thy Rowan shield, for I see by the briny blood that flows you've been wounded in the field. And she stood in a gown of a velvet blue, bound round with a silver chain, and she kissed his pale lips once and twice and 3 times round again. And she's bound his wounds with a golden rod, for fast in her arms he lay. And he has risen hale and soon with the sun high in the day. She said, ride with your brindled hound at heel, and your good grey hawk in hand. There's none can harm the knight who's lain with the witch of the Westmoreland.
Thank you.
Woo, we made it. Thank you.
You remembered all the words.
It's a great tune. I feel like I should have a pint after that, though, man. Anyway, as we carry on here, this next song is a song we wrote with the wonderful Kathleen McClellan. Catherine McClellan. She's a really good friend of ours. Catherine McClellan.
Sorry, we do it.
Okay.
We do it quite a bit. We're like, this is my really good friend
DJ
Edwards, and I'm Cara Luft.
It happens a lot. Anyway, we wrote this song with her and on Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia, and then our wonderful producer Neil Osborne helped us develop this song into what you're about to hear. But when we were writing this song, Cara and I and Catherine, we were sitting listening to the radio, and we realized there was a lot of news, some interesting negative things coming out of the box and out of the internet and all that, and we were trying to figure out a way to reply to all this negative energy and negative news, and we wanted to put some love and positivity back out there. And yeah, thank you. And we were trying to figure out what we were going to write about, and Cara was looking at us, and she said, well, we should write a song about singing. That's what we do. And so this song is called Sing. And not to be cheesy, but the singing can be a very powerful thing. Maybe you've experienced it before. Maybe you wake up in the morning with a grumpy attitude, and somehow you get in the shower and you pick up your shampoo bottle and sing into it, and it makes you feel better. Or maybe you're driving in the Middlebury, Vermont traffic, and some son of a gun with his big pickup truck isn't driving fast enough. And you're getting frustrated because you gotta get your cup of coffee. And what you do, you turn the radio on, maybe you sing, and maybe that might change your mind. Maybe you've had that experience. We think that singing could be a powerful thing. One voice is very powerful. Two voices gets even more powerful. When you have multiple voices, there's no telling what you can do, I think. Sometimes we sing for audiences who don't speak the same language, but somehow when the music starts and the singing happens, we can somehow connect with people. We can crack through that wall, that hard shell. People change their attitudes. Well, this song is kind of all about that. We wrote this song for people whose voices need some amplification. Maybe people's voices aren't heard enough, and we want to help raise them up. We want to sing for all sorts of people, and you'll hear it through the song. And maybe I should stop talking and we should start singing, because I can keep going and going. But this is a wonderful song. It's on our new record, and this is a song called Sing, and it goes like this.
I could sing for the money, I could sing for the praise, spitting out nothing, wasting time up on the stage. Good folks who bleed in freedom deny their truth. One thing I can do is sing for you. Sing for the suffering working slaves, cast in a debt they can never repay. Sing for their oppressors who still believe it's either us or them, never harmony. Sing for the rebels who forgot their cause, dignity for all, whatever the cost. Who are looking at retirement, don't want to be poor. But what about the children ravaged by war? I can sing for the money, I can sing for the praise, spitting out nothing, wasting time up on the stage. The folks who bleed in freedom deny their truth. One thing I can do is sing for you. Sing for the sinners and hidden saints, lurking in the shadows, burdened with pain. Sing for a future free from the past. Sing for a living that's meant to last. Sing for togetherness and not the wall. Tears of human spirit are felt by all. Gotta do what I can, gotta live what I believe. Learn to love and wear it on my sleeve. I can sing for the money, I can sing for the praise, spitting out nothing, wasting time up on the stage. When folks are bleeding freedom, deny their truth. One thing I can do is sing for you. I can sing for the money, I can sing for the praise, spitting out nothing, wasting time up on the stage. When folks are bleeding freedom, deny their truth. One thing I can do is sing for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to do another new song for you guys. This is also off the Assiniboine and the Red album. JD wrote this one with our good friend James Keelahan.
Yeah. Jimmy and I were writing this song. We're thinking about being out on the road, thinking about places that we get to go to. By the way, this job isn't as glamorous as y'all think. I mean, sure, we get to go to some beautiful places and sing in some wonderful spaces. Hey, I just made a rhyme there. That's pretty good.
Good thing you're a songwriter.
But, you know, we don't always get to see all the great spots, all the great things out there. I like to think that what is really nice is meeting people like you instead of having to see a nice church or something. That's nice, but anyway, so the idea is that when we're on the road, we take pictures of beautiful things, maybe a nice landscape or whatever, and when I bring my pictures home to my wife and my kids and I would like to show them, I'm all excited about showing them and telling them stories, and my wife goes, yeah, that's a cool picture. But I'm not in it. And I go, oh, maybe, yeah. I mean, it was really cool. You should have seen the sun on the clouds. It was this gorgeous color. And she's like, yeah, I've seen that before. Or this beautiful tree, you know. The song is called Secondhand, a.k.a. the picture don't do it justice, and that's kind of the idea that we're trying to get across, is that we tell these stories and show these pictures, but it's not as good as actually being there in the real person, you know. So this song is kind of a dream, is kind of a wish in a way, but we'll let you decide. It goes like this.
You don't do it justice. You can see the things I see. Don't need to hear about it secondhand. You'll be there if you dare to come along with me. Drove down the road this morning. The sun was at my back. Curved down through the cold clear water. Past the rundown fishing shack. Across the bay, the autumn leaves turn the hills to flame. A small bird just fluttered by, singing out your name. Baby, we can rent a boat, sail across the sunlit bay. You wrapped up in your winter coat, just to keep the wind away. Spend the afternoon saying nothing, and when the sun goes down, light a fire and drink some wine. Slowly drive back into town. The picture don't do it justice. If you can see the things I see, don't need to hear about it secondhand. You'll be there if you dare to come along with me. Yeah. Rolling into the city at night. Every street has a name. Remind me of the places that I've been to. It all begins to look the same. And underneath the banners and the lights, my mind begins to change. The humming that I'm feeling at the center of town keeps calling out your name. I wish that you could tag along, sit beside me at a restaurant, drinking whiskey at 3 in the morning, singing harmony on that karaoke song. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, going on. I'm going on and on and on. The picture don't do it justice. If you could see the things I see, don't need to hear about it secondhand. If you dare to come along with me, the picture don't do it justice. If you could see the things I see, don't need to hear about it secondhand. You'll be there if you dare to come along with me.
Thank you. After this one? Okay. No, do you want to do Cant Be High right now? Yeah. No. Do you want to do one more? We're looking at the clock and deciding which songs to play.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My bad.
Yeah. We're going to do the first single off our album. This is a song called Oh My Love. And this is a song about somebody. I had fallen in love with somebody. I don't fall in love very often. I don't fall in love very easily. So when it happens, I'm a little more so than I am right now. And then I found out it wasn't mutual. So I obviously misread everything. And like every songwriter who has ever been heartbroken, I said to myself, I must write a song about it. And I didn't get very far. I got music written in melody, but hardly any lyrics. And I would text JD. He was back home in Winnipeg with his family, and I was out in Alberta. And I'd text him. I'd say, I'm working on this great song. It's going to be this beautiful duet, this broken-hearted love song. And he said, great. How are the lyrics coming? And I said, they're not. And I was very grateful that he suggested we bring it to our co-writing session on PEI, and we ended up finishing it off with our friend Ashley, and it has turned into the happiest sounding broken-hearted love song. And isn't that the case? Sometimes those most broken-hearted love songs are disguised in happiness. Anytime you put on a banjo, you're supposed to smile, but really underneath the song is very sad. So I don't know, are you a singing audience? Okay. Sure, we're going to teach you this chorus. It's not the easiest chorus, but there are parts that you will pick up. And if you can't remember the words, we will attempt to help you, and you could just go, watermelon, watermelon, or say whatever you would like to say. The words are, oh, my love, my dearest love, oh, my body's aching, oh, my soul is wide open, and my heart is breaking. And we know it's a lot of words, but you will pick it up. Short version of the story today while I tune.
Oh, okay, sure. This is a short story about this song. The first festival in the United States we ever got to play was at the Moab Folk Festival, and we were very honored to be there, and we got to share the stage with Bruce Coburn. It was a big deal for us. We were very excited. Anyway, there must have been a few thousand people in the audience, and it got to the point in the set when this song came up, and I was feeling super giddy because we had just been eating cheese and crackers with Bruce Coburn in the back of this big deal. Anyway, he went into his bus. He didn't see our set, but that's cool. Anyway, so I got to the point in the set, and I said something like, this song is called Oh My Love. It's about Cara. She's yearning for love. She just built a tiny house and she wants to spend her days with someone in her tiny house. She wants to wake up on her tiny little queen-size bed and walk down her tiny little hallway to her tiny little kitchenette and eat tiny little plates of bacon and eggs and sip tiny little cups of chai tea and put her tiny clothes in her tiny closet. You know, you get the idea. Some guy in the front row, he saved me. He's like, baby, I'm right over here. I want to love you with your tiny house. And it was hilarious. Everyone was laughing. And his friend was with me, had a big beard and a man bun. He's like, my wife is with me. Is this going to get awkward? And we're like, yeah, big time. It was funny.
It's funny. And then we remembered we were in Utah, and then it could have been not so awkward.
Could have gotten really awkward.
So join us on this song. I love that my bandmate cares about my love life. It's very sweet. All right.
Your voice is soft and soothing. Haven't felt this way in a long, long time. Oh, my love, my dearest love. Oh, my body's aching. Oh, my soul is wide open. And my heart is breaking. Traveling over country, across the oceans and the great divide, longing to
a debate. Are you up for singing along again? Okay. We're going to teach you our pop song, and you could mishear it and hear pot.
This is the Green Mountain. This is Green Mountain State. I figure that.
JD thinks you really want to sing along on this one.
This is a song called "You Can't Be High All the Time." Now I know what you're thinking. It's not what you're thinking, but it could be. But it's not. This is a song written with the wonderful Catherine McClellan. Cara and Catherine wrote this song, and see, when I'm going to explain it, I'm going to explain it the illegal way. You should explain it the legal way.
Catherine and I were talking about the evils of social media, essentially, and how, as musicians, we have a hard enough time when we hear about our other friends' successes, and we want to wish them well, but at the same time, we're like, oh, they're out there doing it, and we want to be out there doing this and that, and there's this comparison game that happens, and I think all humans, we inevitably get bought. We buy into this comparison game. We don't want to, but we do, and we always assume that everybody's life is so wonderful and everybody's having a high, wonderful time. And we were trying to convince ourselves that really we need to be very content with the highs and the lows and everything in between, because that's really what life is about. And so we wrote this song called "You Can't Be High All the Time, You Can't Be Right All the Time." And those are the words. It's very easy. But as we were singing, actually rehearsing the song, marijuana had just been legalized in all of Canada. And as we were practicing it, and I'd sing, "You can't be high all the time," JD would go, "Yes, I can, yes, I can." So if you feel like singing that part, you can join him. But it is kind of our radio, one of our radio-friendly songs, and we're secretly hoping that CBC Music Canada will pick it up, and everybody will be driving along and singing along on this song. But you can't be high all the time, you can't be right all the time. And it comes around a whole bunch. We'd love to have you sing.
Yes, I can. Yes.
Where I'm going, every day it's just a little further away. Tell me, is this feeling or nowhere? Tell me who to call, I'm willing to pay. Oh, my, something's gonna happen. Oh, something soon. There we go. You can't be high all the time. You can't be right all the time.
Tell me just one little secret. I promise not to tell. I promise to keep it. Tell me, were you there? Did you feel it? You were walking on the moon. I was trying to reach it. And oh, my, something's gonna happen. Oh, something soon.
Here we go, you can't be high.
'Cause you can't be high all the time. You can't be right all the time.
All right, Jack.
You can't be high all the time. Tell me what I don't know. You can't be right all the time. Oh, my, something's gonna happen. Oh, something soon. Oh, my, something's gonna happen. Oh, something soon. Last time. 'Cause you can't be high all the time.
We got time for one last song before we do that. Beth, we know that you are not solely responsible for bringing us here, but you did see us in Montreal. I don't know where she went. She's around somewhere. But she saw us showcase in Montreal, and she ran up to us after and said, I would love to have you come to Vermont. And we said, where's Vermont? I'm kidding. We didn't. But thank you, and the rest of we know this is an incredibly, it's a volunteer-driven organization. It's been around for a long time, and it's incredible what you guys have done. 41 years, is this right? So thank you for inviting us. This has been an absolute honor playing for you guys. We want to do a shout out to the sound guys for treating us so beautifully. It sounds beautiful up here, and we know it sounds even better out there. Thanks, you guys. And most importantly, we want to thank you for coming out and supporting and celebrating live music and community. This is really what it's all about. We're creating something very memorable here tonight, and hopefully this keeps going 42, 43, 45 years from here, and make sure you've put some money in those buckets, because it's an incredible event. We're even staying at that stunning place. Like JD and I kind of wanted to run up and down all the halls and get lost, and it was phenomenal. We just feel like we're royalty here in Vermont. I don't know, if I had to live in the States, this is the only state I would ever live in. So thanks for... And I'm not just saying that because you're here, but it's incredible. JD and I, we love our job, and we feel that part of our role is social worker. We know that people are stressed out these days. They're stressed out politically. They're stressed out environmentally. We got a lot of things going on in our world all over, and we're all kind of carrying a lot of stuff these days. And then you add that on top of work stress and on top of family stress, whatever. And we hope that by coming here and singing and playing and laughing together, and maybe even crying a little bit together, that we have alleviated a little bit of that, and hopefully send you. Carry on into the second set and on into the night with a little bit of hope and a little bit of joy. So thanks for making our day spectacular, and we hope that we've helped make your day a little better too.
This is a song called Time Wanders On. This is a song celebrating Western Canada. We live in Winnipeg, where it's very flat. We say you can see your dog running away for 3 days if you live west. You can see him there. See the dust there? Most people like to go west. They go west over Manitoba, over Saskatchewan, over to Alberta, and then over the mountains. And this song kind of talks about that whole area, where the Great Rockies down meet the rolling hills of Alberta down to the flat plains and the prairies of Canada and Manitoba. And it's a beautiful place. You all should come there someday.
Come visit us.
Come in February. No mosquitoes. That's the best time to come. Anyway.
Thanks again, everybody. We'll be over at the merch table after, and we'd love to say hi.
Yeah.
I've seen the Rockies rise high above the trees. I've seen the northern lights sun scorched the land in flame. Harvest fields burn beneath her blaze. Heard the wild geese cry as they crossed the plain. Heard the wind call my name. I've seen 100 towns, cities shining bright. Slept among the summer stars, danced through the winter's nights. Where you are, where you roam, time wanders on, time leads you home. Where you are, where you roam, time wanders on.
This is Cara Luft.
This is JD Edwards, and we're the Small Glories.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So we have a special presentation. So one of our longtime supporters, Ann Christie, went out and got a very special gift for JD for his birthday. Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's. Woo!